So today we're going to create a box with several different types of joints that we can then cut on the laser cutter. So to get us started, we're actually going to start with two parameters. So our two parameters are the length that we want for the box, and I'm going to go ahead and remove units again on this, and we are going to make this box 150. So this is the length of all sides of the box. And then we're going to think about thickness. Thickness is the material that we will be cutting on the laser cutter. We put this as a parameter because as we change materials, we're going to need to change our thickness of our materials, and it's nice to be able to do this with a single parameter. And we'll start with 3. 3 is the standard thickness for most of our cardboard. Okay, so now that we're started, I actually want to construct the box so that it is around the central origin point here. But in order to do that, if I click on and turn on my origin, there's no plane that sits out here or way out here so that I can revolve something around the origin. So in order to do that, I'm going to need to construct an offset plane. I'm going to construct that offset plane from this, and I'm going to do it as length divided by 2. Now I have a plane that's halfway off of the origin, this direction, and so as I revolve, everything will center on the origin. Okay, so now I can create a sketch on that plane. My origin here is at the center, and I want to center the box on that origin on this plane, so I'm going to use a center rectangle. Go ahead and click on this, and this box is going to be length, don't forget, times millimeters, by length. Okay, so I have the first wall of my box as a sketch, and this is actually the only thing I want to do in this sketch. So I'm going to go ahead and finish my sketch now. So I want to extrude my first wall in, and I'm going to do this by negative thickness. I want all of the plates of the box to be pushed inward so that they intersect. Okay, so there's my first body. But we will be doing quite a few different types of joints, and some of them are more complex and require some ability to move around. And so we are going to create a rectangular pattern on this so that we can create 3 levels of this wall. So this wall will have 3 panels all stacked together. So I'm going to go ahead and click the rectangular pattern tool. I'm going to choose bodies, and then I'm going to select my object. I'm now going to select the direction that I want to go. So to do this, I'm going to orbit slightly. And now I'm going to select the direction, and I want a direction in this fashion. And I'm going to make this at negative thickness times 2. So now you can see the 3 panels lined up. Before you click OK, though, we don't, though, in the other direction want any pattern or repeat. So we're going to put 1 there, so it only makes 1, and there's not 6 panels sitting on top of each other or 9 panels sitting on top of each other. Instead, we just want 3 stacked panels. So we'll go ahead and hit OK. And now we have the first panel or side of our box. Well, a cube, though, or a box has more than 1 side, so we can use the pattern tool, the circular pattern tool this time, to take these bodies and rotate them around the center axis. And I'm having a little trouble selecting all the bodies, so I'm going to go here into my bodies menu, select them that way, and now the axis we want to rotate them around is the center axis. Quantity-wise, our box is going to have 4 sides, and that's all we're doing. Okay, so you can see we have 4 sides, but we don't have a top or a bottom. So we're going to look at 2 tools, one we've used before, one we haven't, to create the top and bottom. So first off, I'm going to click on the Move and Copy tool. So the Move and Copy tool allows us to manipulate these bodies, and we can create a copy. So we're going to check that. But we don't want to just move this translationally. We want to actually rotate it so it's at the top. So when I do that, I have to once again click Create Copy. And a lot of these bodies are kind of in my way. I'm going to turn them off so that I can see the origin better and select the axis that I want to rotate around. So I want to rotate around this axis. Okay? And I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. Now I've created the bottom of my box. I can hit OK. And just so I can see this better, let's go ahead and turn those bodies back on. And you can see it lines up perfectly as the bottom of the box. Okay, so we're going to turn off those front 3 bodies. That way we can see once again inside of our box well. And we are going to select the last 3 bodies now and mirror them. So create a mirror and select these 3 bodies. And then the mirror plane is going to be simply the origin plane that we originally have. So here, this X plane will be what we mirror across. Okay, and we're creating new bodies. And now, if we turn it all on, we have a full set cube. Okay, so one more thing before we go. I'm going to take body 1 and I'm going to make it a component, create components from bodies. So that was the front plate. I do it in this fashion because I'm going to go label this as front. And now I can select other bodies to also move to the front. So I can select this one, drag it down, put it in the front. And lastly, body 3. I do this because if you look, this gets a little bit more confusing, that 4, 5, and 6 are actually on different faces of the body. Okay, so let's go ahead and take body 4 and create a component. It is on the right side of the box. You can use this as reference up in the top corner. So I'm going to call this one right. And then I'm going to find all the other right panels and put them in the same component. This way, as we start working, we'll have bodies grouped and be able to work with them. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do this for all other sides. Back, left, top, and bottom. Okay, so I now have a complete cube that I can start to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. Make sure it's saved so that we can continue working with it. And this is where we will pick up next time.